We are Taylin, myself, Brian, and William, and we are covering the topic of is the teaching of sportsmanship a part of coaching? What are the specific ways in which you can reinforce the value of sportsmanship? So, the introduction as far as the coach's role of teaching sportsmanship, we broke it down into three different levels. The first being at the youth level, the second being at the interscholastic level, so high school, and then the third level being for the collegiate and professional. So, as far as the youth level coaching, the sportsmanship taught through coaching there at that level, Schneider, our author, stated that young minds look to sport as a means to create an identity for themselves. And so young minds are able to be molded with concepts of good moral behavior, hence the importance of coaches developing this in young minds. For the interscholastic level, Schneider also stated participants may learn moral habits more effectively through sport than through other activities. So in high school, students are bombarded with join this club, join this sport, from the arts, from theater, from drama, from the actual ceramic art classes, and science clubs, and quiz bowls, and DECA, and everything in between, that it's kind of interesting that sport has the ability to more effectively teach moral habits. And of course, this stems from the importance of the coaching role. So coaches have to be on top of their game as far as teaching sportsmanship at this level and not let that potential go wasted. So the third level, for the intercollegiate and professional level, Schneider noted in our textbook that coaches can positively reinforce good moral behavior in athletes. So we have noted the use of reinforcing, since the minds are already developed at this level and they are not as easily molded as in the youth years. There are financial rewards and incentives that can be used at this level since they are getting paid at this level. Now, a big perspective of sportsmanship in relation to coaches. So, in the article How to Show Good Sportsmanship, the author noted that being a good sport means your conduct is polite and gracious and that you avoid disrespecting others during game time. So external influences can affect the sportsmanship of an individual. This includes coaches, athletic trainers, athletic directors, corporate sport managers. These are all types of external influences or sources. With the emphasis on coaches, coaches have an important influence on their athletes. So the author of the article, Coaches Are Responsible for Sportsmanship, expressed that what the coach can help with is instilling a code of conduct. So Schneider also expressed that coaches must dedicate themselves to the goal of utilizing sport as a vehicle to foster moral values. Coaches can set an example for their athletes that consistently demonstrates how to handle and respond to situations in a respectful manner. So emphasis on the consistent. So sportsmanship comes from a driving factor of consistency, consistently developing good moral behavior and demonstrating good moral behavior. It's not just a 1 out of every 10 times you act morally correct. That's not sportsmanship. The athletes look up to their coaches as the leader figure and are likely to mirror their behavior even after their playing days are over. And this is in relation to the youth, the interscholastic, the collegiate, and the professional levels.
Hello. My part of the presentation is to talk about, the name of the presentation is Should Coaches Coach Sportsmanship, and my part of the presentation is about coaching sportsmanship through the youth and high school level. So I have some topics here. One, good sportsmanship is the main ingredient that provides the value that coaches can instill in their players. The next one, it's up to the adults to teach the necessary skills to understand that it's not about winning or losing, it's about how the game is played. I know me as a coach, I won some games and I've lost some games, but I also have a message at the end of it about, it's more than just winning and losing. It's about certain situations that you can apply to life. Also, next point is coaching sportsmanship is a tool. that embodies the value that parents put their children, and coaches need to reinforce it. So basically, as a coach and you're coaching and you're teaching sportsmanship, you are an extension of the parent, and that's what that point is about. The next one is coaching is a privilege and a source of pride that can be rewarding when a coach can put knowledge into a kid of morality. So basically, morality and knowledge is something that you can do when dealing and talking about sportsmanship and coaching play kids at the youth or high school level. And it should be a source of pride and a privilege to do that. I know every time I get a chance to coach a kid, or a kid picks my brain and we talk about good sportsmanship, it's a privilege for me to know that, and it's a privilege for me to pass that knowledge on. And my last topic is, in order to have a healthy youth or high school experience as a player, an athlete, the main step is you have to be taught the sportsmanship of when a player is young. So there's a lot of things going on in youth sports today up to high school about, whether they're fighting in games or just showing off. That's not a healthy youth sports experience. The healthy youth sports experience should be with the fact that you can win or lose and still play your best and leave it on the table, and also feel good about what you've done. So I put down some tips to promote good sportsmanship in youth and high school sports and high school players. Number one, don't have a hidden agenda if you're a coach. Number two, be your player's role model. Be the person they look up to. Be somebody that they can lean on. So when you're talking good sportsmanship or talking something to make them a better player or a better adult, they see you as someone that what you say goes. The next one, you set the expectations for your players. If you want your players to have good sportsmanship, you want your players to understand what's going on in the situations, you have to set that expectations as a coach to understand how that works, okay? And lastly, emphasize the significance of being a good sport regardless of the situation. It's been many times that I've got my hat brought to me, or my teams, but I still went and shook the other team's hand. They got the best of me. It's always tomorrow. And you have to emphasize that in your players. Winners don't be upset when they lose. They just readjust so they won't lose again. And they always tip their hat off to the people that beat them and use it as a situation. So that's my portion of the should coaching be taught? Coaches should teach sportsmanship at the level of youth and high school players.
Yes, in collegiate and professional sports, teaching and demonstrating sportsmanship is the number one objective in sports for coaches to instill in their athletes. Coaches at this level have to be intentional about teaching and holding their players accountable to be good sportsmen, although they're not competing in interscholastic sports anymore. Because of the national attention and the financial revenue at the Division I and professional level, athletes must illustrate ethical behaviors. Collegiate and professional athletes are role model to interscholastic athletes, and therefore they have to keep that in the back of their mind each day when they take the court, knowing that the younger generation is watching them. Good sportsmanship is essential because it makes competitive play more enjoyable for everyone, and bad sportsmanship fosters a hostile environment. To give you an example, 2004, the Detroit Pistons versus the Indiana Pacers, the Malice in the Palace, one of the biggest brawls and riots in sports history. And it all derived from poor sportsmanship being played during the game, and also stemmed from poor sportsmanship in previous game from the previous year. And at this level, coaches need to promote an atmosphere that teaches and value players showing good sportsmanship. Some ways to reinforce the value of sportsmanship is by financially incentivizing and also making public accolades to the athletes and coaches. In 1999, the NCAA created the NCAA Sportsman Award of the Year, and it is voted on by a committee of 11 representatives from different institutions. And to be picked, the man or woman has to promote fairness, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Just to give you an example, in 2015 season, the Georgia University Bulldogs whole team was awarded the NCAA Sportsmanship Award because of their first response care to Southern University football player that was stricken by a severe spinal cord injury. And during this time, Georgia medical staff was the first one to respond to the injured player. And also the university flew the parents out to the injured player, flew the parents out to the game on their own expense. So therefore, Southern University had nominated the Georgia Bulldogs as a Sportsman of the Year, which they received in 2015-2016 season. And those are just a few examples of team sportsmanship and also individual awards. All four of the major sports from Major League Baseball, NFL, hockey, NBA, they all honor their players with good sportsmanship by awards at the end of the year that's voted on by their peers and or fans. To give you an example, in 2006 and 2007, the NBA donated $25,000 on behalf of Luau Dane's his charity work that he's involved with. And also they donated $10,000 each to the divisional winners of their charity of choice. And this is all stemmed from, instead of NBA players being awarded with financial gains, the NBA pays the charity of their choice the money that they won, which I think is a very cool idea. Some other ways that we can reinforce the value of sportsmanship is collegiate coaches. They should not offer letter of intent to interscholastic athletes for consistently displaying poor sportsmanship. I think this criteria should be publicized to raise awareness at the interscholastic level of sportsmanship. Other ways that professional organizations can reinforce the value of sportsmanship is by not drafting collegiate players that are considered poor sportsmen based on a publicized criteria, once again, to raise awareness of sportsmanship. Another way that we can reinforce it is by hosting, instead of yearly awards, we can also host weekly awards for sportswoman and sportsman of the week. You know, that way it can give, instead of waiting to the end of the year, it can bring notoriety to being a good sportsman weekly. All right, and for college athletes receiving this award weekly, I believe there should be some type of financial reward system, since today and age, college athletes can make money off their own likeliness. I think this would be a good way to involve a financial reward, is by incorporating a system where they're picked on by their peers or by coaches of sportsmanship-like conduct displayed during the game. In other ways, they can also make a public acknowledgement on national sports channels such as ESPN or Fox Sports. At the bottom of the screen, while we see breaking news for something negative, why not put something positive at the bottom of the screen? Breaking news that this athlete, that athlete has won Sportsman of the Week. Also, the local news stations, national local newspapers and radio can also do the same thing by highlighting the weekly winners of sportsmanship awards. And this will too raise awareness to sportsmanship at all levels. Professional sports, they can continue their system of donating to the sportswoman or sportsman winner of charity of choice, which I think is a very good, avenue for professional sports to take. Although that a lot of athletes do not need the financial compensations from the award, many of them just like the notoriety, then also donating to charity events that they are a part of. Another way to reinforce the value of sportsmanship is by acknowledging a pre-written statement announced before all games during the time that the national anthem is played. This way, at this time, you already have the fans' attention, And now you can mention a statement about sportsmanship. That way the fans are aware of their role in sportsmanship. Another way you can incorporate the fans' value in sportsmanship is when they purchasing tickets. Ticket holders have to sign off waivers stating that they will display characteristics of being a good sportsman. And if not, there's a list of consequences from to being ejected out of the game, all the way up to a lifetime ban. And also, we just need to continue educating, incentivizing, and marketing weekly and yearly awards winners of good sportsmanship. That way it can be fresh on people's mind every day, every week about the importance of sportsmanship.
So in conclusion, from what we have presented in this presentation, so Brian talked about the youth and interscholastic levels. So he mentioned coaches can teach values and concepts that relate to and promote sportsmanship, such as playing is more than just winning and losing. Coaches are an extension of the parent and the values that the parent is teaching. So coaches can build upon what the parents are already teaching them, given that they are teaching them good, moral, correct behaviors. Coaches can get fulfillment when they see that their morality that they're trying to teach and instill in their athletes is passed to the athlete. They see this when the athlete demonstrates good moral behavior. And then he also gave tips for coaches to promote sportsmanship during this particular life segment of youth to interscholastic level. William taught us all about the collegiate and professional level. He said that ethical behaviors in athletes must be present, especially with this financial gain involved. So money can make you do crazy things. We all know that. So it is even more important at this level to have those ethical behaviors so that people behave morally correct and demonstrate good sportsmanship throughout the life of their professional career, collegiate career, which collegiate career can even lead to the professional career. He talked about reinforcing the value of sportsmanship, that it has to be intentional at these levels from the coaches because of so many other external factors that can drive their athletes' behaviors and mindset, including financial, fame, fortune, fans, agents, sponsors. And in order to have the best experience for players, and this goes also for the best experience for coaches, fans, etc., sportsmanship should be demonstrated in those competitions. And he gave ways for coaches to reinforce the value of sportsmanship during this particular life segment of collegiate to professional. So we hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.